Welcome to another episode. Today, I have two guests with me and Folashade. Seun is a software developer with over 7 years of experience, and Shade is a DevOps engineer. Hello, Shade and Seun. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Rocky. Thanks for having me.
So, I would start with you, Shade. Ladies first. I know you transitioned from a non-technical background to tech. So, can you tell us a little bit about your career before transitioning into tech?
Okay, thank you. I came from a non-tech background. I did industrial chemistry in school, master's in business administration. Yeah, master's in business administration. Then I was working with an oil and gas company, more of like an engineering company in oil and gas as their business developer.
Okay.
While there, how would I put it? It's not an engineering company. They started owing me. Started thinking of my life. I wanted to transition into tech. I've been hearing about it, but I didn't really know much on how to go about it, especially what we align with me. Even
Okay.
the fact that I'm the type that doesn't even know much about technology and stuff like that. So I heard about DevOps from one of my friends in US. She told me about it, how profitable it is. That's the first thing that catch me. Okay. Do you get? So she transitioned into tech and shared how lucrative and promising the field could. And learning about the financial potential and career opportunity in DevOps just piqued my interest.
Nice.
And I've always, been aware of tech, but just didn't know how to go about it. So our guideline gave me direction on what I needed to take, like my first steps and all. That's how I got myself into tech.
Nice. So that basically inspired you to make the
Yeah,
switch to tech.
exactly.
Nice. Sean, could you tell us about what you were doing before tech and what the motivation was for you?
Okay, so I started out as a formulation scientist, no, formulations analyst. My background is in chemical engineering. I did an undergrad, I did a master's in that. That's why I met Rooks. And then I guess to go into the motivation, the big motivation is very simple, it's just money. When I wanted to, when I did my chemical engineering degree, the intention was to work in oil and gas. And specifically was because that was the industry that was the most lucrative at the time. But unfortunately for us, and for anyone who remembers 2014, 2015 time, how the Naira just went down, the oil and gas sector tanked, and it never really fully recovered. So when I went into the job market, it was very difficult to get something within oil and gas. But I was lucky enough to find myself within working for an oil company, but not within the specific role that I wanted to work as. I was working within the science side of things. And from there, I was looking to get into engineering and I was applying and stuff. And then I stumbled upon data science. So that was my Jesus as a software foray into software development. And then, I think I saw at the time, there were a lot, it was just sort of booming in the data science industry. And they were looking to bring a lot of people who had a quantitative or mathematic background into that field. And it was very lucrative, I would say. So that's what formed my, that was the motivation behind me getting into software development.
Nice. So for both of you, I'd say the financial gain first. Not the only motivation, but that was like this motivation for both of you.
I think I've lost audio. 1 second.
Okay.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm Seun. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. We have Seun back. Okay, that's fine. So how did you still with Seun, how exactly did you learn? Did you not get into data science? Did you learn on your own? Did you have to attend a boot camp? How did you learn?
So I first started out learning by myself. So I
Okay.
picked up a couple of languages at the time. And then I think what really helped me was joining a boot camp. So there was a company at the time who specialized in getting people from math backgrounds into software dev and data science. So yeah, they were quite instrumental. I was with them for about a few months, like 3 months, and then boom, the shit. I was not just picked up the market.
Yeah. Nice. Shade, how did you learn? Was it boot camp for you too, or did you learn on your own?
Yeah, same. It was a boot camp. I enrolled in a DevOps engineering boot camp with a project-based learning kind of style.
Okay.
And since I came from a non-tech background, self-studying alone felt overwhelming. And the bootcamp provided structured learning and hands-on projects for me, which
Okay.
helped me, grasp knowledge, the concepts. I got the concept better. And it was a bit challenging at the beginning, especially understanding the technical terms, the jargon, and the system also. But along the line, gradually I adapted.
Okay. So would you say for both of you that attended boot camps, would you say it's possible to learn on your own? And why would you advise a boot camp over learning on your own or not? To me, I'll start with Seun.
I didn't catch the question.
Okay. Do you think it's possible to learn on your own? And or would you always recommend a boot camp? Because I am pro a boot camp is nice, but I feel they can be quite pricey. So if you can't afford, you cannot learn on your own because there are a lot of resources to learn. There are few and affordable resources to learn. But what's your take on that?
I think that's an excellent question. I would say for myself, the value, if I'm to go back, if I'm to advise someone, I would say try to learn by yourself. The value I got from the boot camp was not necessarily the learning material. It was like maybe I went the number of classes, 4 or 5 classes. So it's not enough for you to learn anything consequential. The main value I got was knowing what to learn. So
Like a roadmap, the guide basically, knowing what to learn.
yeah, exactly. They tell you this is what the day-to-day is like, this is what people usually know. So you would have like a very good understanding of what the industry is and the different roles within the industry. And you could, then go on and hone your skills by yourself. You would never really, you just have some advantages with the bootcamp in terms of also that community. Like nowadays, with the bootcamps, there are lots of people within the field, and then they could give you that confidence. And they can tell you, this is not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. And they tell you their day to day as well. So it really gives you that confidence that you need to go and do it yourself. But in terms of actually, learning the content itself, it's nothing beats, self-study.
Yeah.
Especially now, during there's just so much information on the
So
internet.
much.
There's so, people out there, telling out there. That's my thing.
Yeah, nice. Sade, what do you think?
For me, I would say someone that have zero knowledge about it. Like you said, camp would help you, plan your journey, get you to know what is the right thing to learn. Because
Yeah.
okay, it's very also you want to learn data analysis, but you don't even know how to start. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
with bootcamp, it will give you an edge on the steps, the tools to learn to become that data analyst or a DevOps engineer or a software engineer. So I think bootcamps still have their own advantage. Just like you said, a lot of them are quite pricey right there nowadays, and I feel they are it's unfair to people.
Exactly.
They know how the tech market, how the tech industry is very lucrative, and they're using that, at their advantage. That you want to learn tech, you have to invest your hard money in it, which is not nice. It's very challenging for a lot of people to find it. I've seen people, taking DevOps engineering courses for like £2,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. So if you can get a, not too pricey bootcamp to just give you guidelines on how to go about it, and you make your research. There are lots of research on the internet. Get your hands on some projects you can work on, because projects is very important. You
Yeah.
have to update it. So if you can get your hands on some projects you can work on, that's where it really help. So more bootcamp and
So a mixture, a good balance. You could be a good at, but also
exactly.
nice. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the challenging part of transitioning from the non-tech background to tech now. Would we say it was learning it or getting a job or even adapting to the new tech environments? So that I've talked about 3 stages now: learning itself, landing a job, and I'm sure you're in the UK and Shade is in Nigeria. So for landing a job, we need to emphasize patience. So let's start with Folashade now. You're in Nigeria. So was it learning it, landing the job, or adapting to, as you said, the technical jargons and all of that? So the new environment as a techie, what was what was the most challenging for you?
So for me, I would say the most challenging part was the technology and the technical learning, understanding the terminologies, how different systems interact with each other. And since I don't even have prior tech experience, so everything felt boring to me
That
at
was
first.
that was learning it.
There is learning, starting. So however, working on the hands-on projects, in the bootcamp plus they give us hands-on projects to work on. It helped reinforce my learning and made the transition easy. And also I would say landing a job could be quite tedious. You have to, that's like when you're done learning, that's another chapter on it. It's, it's actually not easy. But I was grateful to God. I think I got a job 3 months after learning finishing my project and all. So I got a job 3 months. But those 3 months felt like the end of the world. The way too, because it involves a lot. I have to optimize my LinkedIn, apply for thousands of jobs. And
Thousands.
thousands to get few interviews. So it's not also easy getting a job. You have to put all your all. You have to dedicate yourself into it. You're ready to land that job. It's not easy. So both are quite challenging. But if you don't even know what you are doing, how will you land a job?
Exactly.
Learning is I feel is the most challenging out of all of them.
Really. Nice. Seun?
So in terms of transitioning, I think the challenging thing for me was letting my engineering career go. I would say because it's so much. You've gone to uni, you've learned all this domains, specific domain content, and then all of a sudden, you have to do the market, use the condition.
Exactly. Seun, I've had BSc,
Yeah.
engineering masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just letting it go. So initially, I was trying to going into the market, seeing how I can leverage my engineering skills and merge that with technology, because I was just thinking I don't want a situation where I have to go back. If I have to go back to engineering and then I've lost a year or something along those lines. Until I think what took the shackles off for me was when I just made the decision that I'm leaving engineering fully. I'm just going to focus on the getting a job in tech. So that was one challenge. And the second challenge was, I guess, understanding your role, understanding where you want to go into. So once you've learned, I'm speaking from a point of, okay, I've learned this content. I know where I want to, I have skills and, these programming skills. But there's still a plethora of different roles that you can go into. And I want to build my story. How do I leverage what I already know and passion that is articles for specific role I want to add. So another pitfall that people will be falling, but they say they want to be DevOps.
Very nice. Is it your background or Shade's on? Can someone mute? Okay, yeah.
That should be my background. That was my niece.
Okay, that's fine.
So
Seun.
one of the pitfalls you fall into is you say you want to be DevOps, or you want to be a software developer, you want to be a cloud architect, and you're trying to chase all these things at the same time. But it's always better to focus on one thing and put all your effort into that one thing, at least when you want to venture into the industry and then start interviewing. Then I guess the third challenge is the interview. But for me, that wasn't really a big deal because by the time I was going to interview for tech, how I look at my tech versus engineering career is when I came out of school, we came out with lots of confidence, and then I applied must have been 1,000 jobs. And then from those 1,000 jobs, I get like 50 interviews. And those 50 interviews, I'm so nervous because I'm like, I'm thinking I've gone through all these hoops, jumped through all these stages, all these psychometric tests and pre-calls and all that kind of stuff, just to speak to get to this stage. And then there's another reason why engineering is very different from tech. You study chemical engineering, or in my case, advanced chemical engineering, which is the master's in engineering, but it's still very broad. You never really know until you start learning from when point at which you join a job. So you join a role. So I could apply for in the pharmaceutical sector, for instance, to work as a process engineer. And the questions are wildly different from the interview for an oil and gas job or the questions for a manufacturing job. So it's very challenging. So long story short, I got a lot of rejections for the interviews. But by the time I was moving into tech, it was more, I learned exactly what I needed for the role.
Sure.
So the confidence, the fear of rejection was less, given that applied for so many and I got so many rejections, the chemical engineering side of it. The first rejection was less. And also when I applied for roles, I usually, so compared to engineering where it's like 100 applications to one um, interview, one actual interview was much less. So it would probably be like 2 applications to one. So I was getting interviews. I was like, if I miss this one, the next one is there. So I guess the challenge was, in that respect was, just learning how to, you know, present myself, which was very quick process. After first and second interview, I sort of knew the pitfall, how to present myself, and then it was smooth sailing from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Um, so I would say, how has it been so far? Like, it's been how many years in tech, Sean? This question is for you. So how many years of experience do you have in tech?
7 or 8 years.
Yes. So it's been
Yeah.
8 years. How has it been so far in tech?
It's been fantastic, I would say. Well, roller coaster, fantastic. I've had the opportunity to work in so many different industries. I gained domain knowledge where previously would have been very difficult for me to pick up domain knowledge. I've met really fantastic people. Um, and also I've also been able to learn a lot within tech itself. So to boost my career, any new job, there are 2 types of jobs you go into. There are jobs where they pay you well, but they use all of your skill. So you're not learning anything. You're there to just pour into them. And there are jobs where the pay is okay, but the potential, like the learning they give you that learning opportunity so you can really wrap up quickly. And then your next role, you could um, uh, leverage up of that or exploit that. So yeah, it's been good so far.
Awesome. Okay. Shade, how has your tech journey been so far? I mean, comparing it to when you started to where you are now. You are now at. How has it been? I think you need to unmute.
I think there's any underrated tech skill because it's all about finding what's relevant in the industry. But I would say a more of a life skill. So the underrated life skill I would say is thinking of yourself as a business and looking at the market as looking at supply and demand in the market. So when you go into a role, always having that mindset of how can I improve myself that will make me more valuable in the market. Don't just look at how can I be the best DevOps engineer, because it could be the case that 2-3 years from now, DevOps engineering is not the big deal that I want. So it's always understanding the markets, making sure that you continuously learn to make yourself, or try to see beyond the curve, try to see what's next, and learning, to make yourself more valuable. I think that's the most underrated skill. I can say, yeah, go learn AWS, go get this and go get that, and go get this, but it, everything is driven by supply and demand. So the reason why some skills, some tech roles could be 10 times harder, but pay far less, could just be due to the fact that everyone, and there's so much, they already have an abundance of skill there. So you go into, if you understand, the market, if you understand, when you try to understand the market, try to see what's going on, what is new, and you constantly keep an eye out. Then you try to pivot and build your skill into those niches, then you always remain valid.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Shade, so when you left, I asked you for the most underrated skill in tech. What do you think that is? What do you feel is the most underrated skill?
I agree with what Sean said. I don't think there is any underrated skill in tech. But if I'm to choose, I'll say adaptability. Because tech is constantly evolving, and the ability to quickly learn and adapt to a new, you have to learn, unlearn, and relearn is very crucial. So the ability to do that, the adaptability of getting to learn new skills every day is very, very important. And I think it's something everybody has to know and have to as a tech person. And people focus a lot on the technical skills, but being able to adapt to new tools like workflow and the environment is just as important as the skills.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, especially as a DevOps engineer. I mean, of course, software engineers, data analysts, but as a DevOps engineer, so there's a new tool every day. Like you're actually using one CI/CD tool. Before you know it, there's GitOps. Before you know it, there's another thing. Like, and then basically the same thing, just a little bit of differences like here and there. So it's adaptability is actually very, very crucial. I
Sure.
I would like to add to that.
okay.
I think just to add to that, there's something you pointed out, which is, knowing all the processes that works. And the reason why these processes are important, there are a couple of reasons. Well, I won't mention all the reasons, but a couple of important reasons. One of which, working with a team. So DevOps is really important, to help a team of different people function together to build the product, to get them onto the same track and make sure everything is, going smoothly. So working within a team to achieve a single goal. Then the second thing is uh, your soft skills with those team members as well. So that if I think that cuts across the industry.
Yeah.
As well. You're somebody that's amenable and you know how to influence people, not manipulative influence. So that makes things move a lot faster and I guess makes things go. Yeah, feel
Shade, can you help us with can you mute it again for us? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the next question is, how important do you think certifications are in landing tech roles? And I would also want us to compare it to when we actually broke into tech compared to now in 2025. How important are certifications in landing tech jobs then and now, or just general? I'll start with you, Shadi.
Let me unmute. Okay. I would say tech certification is very helpful and important, especially for validating your knowledge to companies. In the job market is very competitive. But however, having solid project-based learning experience will get you far. Because you could tender out that you have certification, but they give you some interviews will give you project to do, and you can't really do it. So it's not all about the certification. As much as certification can give you an edge, learning the skill, having a strong hands-on experience will get you further. Yeah. Also, yeah. Both are important, but first thing to do is not rushing to do or rushing to get certification rather than having hands-on experience.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Sheon?
I would say it depends on the role. So
okay.
if you're just a full stack developer, for instance, I don't think you need certifications. It's more like what your projects are. You're a data scientist or data engineer, maybe not as much. But if you work in cybersecurity or cloud ops or DevOps, where there's specific, certifications for those roles, then probably is a bit important. And that's which is important not because of the certification itself, but because you want to remain competitive. So being on the other side as looking through CVs, even a recruiter, it's very competitive now in uh, um, certain roles. I remember looking at CVs for a cloud engineer role a couple of years ago. During COVID, 2020. And maybe among all the people that were applying, the highest certification in cloud engineering, I think, was from the regional experts for AWS. Either have a similar one nations that had that. Yeah. Now the case is different. The last time I looked through, I went through a similar exercise for a role. I see the CVs about 100 or something like that. All different. Some even had for AWS. Let's say all three of them. So yeah, which is it doesn't necessarily mean that we have patients who are better candidate, but these guys are making split certain decisions and they just need something to, shorten down the list of candidates. So don't let that be a reason. If you work in one of those industries that have specific certifications, don't let that be a reason that, shortlisted. I would say so. What else? For the more generic ones.
Awesome. So I think would I say no, one more question, the final question. So before we wrap up, I would say they say tech bros or tech quiz, they are boring people. What do you guys what do you guys do for fun outside work? What's your go-to activity? So I'm done with coding today. I'm done with all the tech things today. What do you do? Let's have a show.
But I wanted to upgrade.
You can even try.
Yeah, so, um, yeah, I do some running. Uh, I'm not well. I have kids and stuff. So they take the best of
Spend time with the family.
and then yeah, just take care of the family, do some running, and then watch TV. Nothing out of the. I'm not even going to lie and say I'm the adventurous type. I went like skydiving the other day or anything. So very, very simple.
Yeah, I mean, I get it a lot that people say tech makes them more introverted. So because you're spending so much hours on your system, you really don't have time to do other things. Is that it for you, or just outside tech? You are your personality.
This, well, let's start. I think personality is a mix.
Yeah.
A lot of it, well, it depends. So the trends, there were periods in my career where I was building a lot of things. So career wise, so I was spending a lot of work. But and it is a bit controversial. Not because like I particularly enjoy the work or the stuff, it's because I'm very money motivated. So
Money is essential. No, it's
yeah, the periods where I've been spent a lot of time, you know, on the work side of things. It's not necessarily um personality thing, I would say. But sometimes it's just what I enjoy as well. I have lots of, well, in the UK, there's a big community. I have lots of people that are there and all that. So it's not, that makes it a bit easier to socialize on the end as well. So
okay. Nice, nice. Shade, balance one. It's not actually not boring. You know,
For me, I think I'm more of like an introvert, extrovert kind of person. I could be mixture of both. Yeah, but I think I'm more of an introvert person. And if I just want to get away from my screen, I take a walk. Most time I hang out with family, go for games and stuff like that, lounge. But mostly it's Netflix and chill, just chill in the house, just movie. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah.
No, I mean, before we wrap up, sorry, that was not the final question. The most important question of the day: what would your advice be for anyone that wants to break into tech now? Just advice and tips. Let's start with you, Shade.
And I would say starting with a structured learning part, just like Shell mentioned the other time, bootcamp might not be that important, but they will give you that structure you need to start. You get so bootcamp, online courses. If you are lucky, you get a mentorship. So
Yeah.
things like we give you the guidelines on how to go about it. And I could say, don't get overwhelmed with too much information out there on that particular the career you want to pursue. There are a lot of information and misinformation out there. So I've had like a mentor, if you are lucky to get one, lots of online courses to go for, pay for bootcamp if you can, self-study learning and stuff like that. Just focus on, and I think, like I mentioned the other time, hands-on learning will be very, very important. It gives you more advantage and more edge, than someone that is just maybe focusing on certification alone, where you don't really even have the experience. That's for me.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome.
But I say things with yourself,
So everybody get that. Be patient with yourself.
Yeah. Be patient with yourself. Don't get overwhelmed with it. Too much stuff coming in at the whole time. Like, understand this. How am I going to go about it? Or you get frustrated and just drop it. Do I even know what I'm doing?
Yeah. I mean, I can relate. Some people just say, "I want to transition," and I would want to do this for 2 months, and that's it. I think you should give yourself like a realistic.
Exactly.
And it depends on what role it is, but I think for any tech, be it software development, cybersecurity, DevOps, 2 months is a bit too short.
It's short.
Yeah. So take your time, be patient, and don't. There are conflicting. There can be conflicting info or resources out there. So just get the best roadmap for that role. Thank you, Nishi. Thank you, Shani. Sorry. Nils, we can hear your Nils voice. Just mute for us. We're wrapping up soon. Sean, so your advice to the newbies or people that are already, I mean, they started a journey or they want to start, what would you say they should, what will your advice be to them?
So my advice, I'll just piggyback off what both of you said,
Yeah.
which is you don't just give 2 months. So you have to be very intentional and consistent. So but just stick with it. So be intentional that this is the role you want to go into. And then be consistent. Like spend a few, just don't just, you're intentional. You're not going to go into it and 1 month you give up. You learn as you go, and then you learn more, and then you get that feedback. If it's you're not getting interviews, why you're not getting interviews? Where's my CV not good? If you're good getting interviews but you're not being offered, why not getting offers? Refine yourself and get that feedback. Then the second thing I would say is, and this is purely like how I went about it. It's, you have to look at don't just focus on, I want to go into tech. What's the reason we want to go into tech? And for most people, some will admit it, some will not admit it. Because tech is popular, they see so many roles there and it's a bit lucrative. And like, well, there are more opportunities. Why are there more opportunities? Because, companies need those people. So when you're going into tech as well, you need to understand, where would I be most valuable? How I would go about it is just go on the job boards, check like a ton of roles, or do some research. What are roles within this industry? Go on the job boards, see like LinkedIn is very good for this, because not only do you see the number of roles, but you see the number of people applying. So you understand the competition that you have. So you could go, for instance, in my case, I will not advise somebody to just study. 5-10 years ago, I was begging people, just go and study Python. Just Python alone. Don't study DevOps. Don't study.
Yeah, I know you had that conversation with me when I started.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody's thinking that I need to be this engineer or this be that engineer. No, just one language. If you just study that one language and you're good at it, then you're Python developer. At the time, there were lots of people asking for just pure Python developer. Now I would say don't, because if you go on LinkedIn and you put Python developer, maybe you see like 1,000, but click on every one of those roles, 300, 400 applicants. So how would you even get viewed? Think about it from the recruiter's end. There's no recruiter, 100%, no recruiter is going to look through 400 CVs. At some point, what they have is these automated systems, and maybe that automated system is not even good enough because cannot filter out enough people because everybody's competent. So they just pick the top 50 and then they're done with it. So look for roles where, there are, it could even just be software programming languages that there may be fewer of them on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. It's just what the competition is like. Are there 1,000 people applying for this role? No, if you just see there's this specific programming language that anytime I see on LinkedIn, 2 or 3 weeks it's been on LinkedIn, only 5 applicants. Maybe I should go learn that instead of just doing the generic stuff that everybody is learning. So, look at it from that point of view. And then my final piece of advice is, as you mentioned, don't get overwhelmed. Just if you pick one thing, it's better to know one thing and know it properly than have like a lot of half knowledge in a lot of things. Just if you're on one learning path, just try to stick to it. Get more, understand how to learn it as well. Spend a bit of time researching on how do I learn this specific topic so that you don't get lost in the lead.
Awesome. Just to let's say clarify. So you said you should check which role or job as maybe fewer competition. So this would be before you even start the transition. This is you deciding on what role to, because there's no way you'll have started, then you realize and you So this is even from your before you even pick any field to choose, you could do that. See the supply versus demand for that. Choose that one. Then, as Shade said, if you're lucky, you could get a mentor, but just have a structured roadmap. Could be a boot camp, it could be a guide you find online, but something that tells you what to the path, basically, what to learn first, in what order, and so your journey is smooth and clean. Awesome, guys. You guys have shared very, very insightful and detailed tips here. Thank you both for joining me today, and I'll see ya in another episode. Bye, guys.